Hi, Julia.
Hello. Well, look, you and I have watched, and you would like to say politely, a few more than me, many an election being called. Did this one come as much of a surprise to you as it appeared to pretty much everybody, including quite a lot of the members of the Tory cabinet?
It did indeed. In fact, I went on TalkTV yesterday saying it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Having just seen Matt Warman, who'd come directly from Downing Street, to be told to say the same thing on air on the BBC. So
Yeah.
I felt pretty safe. However, I think, frankly, this is an act of panic. I think that what we've got is a government knowing that it faces execution and has chosen a quick death rather than the slow torture.
Yeah, I wonder. I want to put it to you because you got your ear to the ground. One of the rumours I had heard was that, and I was told by someone quite specific who seemed like someone who would know, that Rishi Sunak has a job offer, a super duper, very, very high paying job in California. And his wife is rather keen on him taking that job. It's only available till the summer. He has to take it. And look, take the job. We can get the kids enrolled in school, in California before before the autumn term begins. And let's just cut our losses. You're going to lose anyway. Let's just cut our losses and go and take that great job. Any truth to that rumour?
Well, anything is possible, Julia, as you know, in politics and in the world at large. But I would be very disappointed if it turned out to be true, because I think that one of the things one of the few things that Rishi Sunak can claim is that he's a hard-working man of absolutely total absorption in the job. So I find that a bit difficult.
Yeah, no,
Really.
I mean that's the thing. I've actually got a lot of time for Rishi Sunak, and a lot of people. He's got into office at a time when, I mean, the things were counting against him. That's certainly for sure. It was very interesting at this, I mean, absolute disaster of an announcement yesterday, with the rain plummeting down and Steve Ray playing "Things Can Only Get Better" from D Ream Labour's theme tune to the winning 1997 election outside. I mean, it was just an absolute calamity, that absolute washout. But it was interesting that Rishi Sunak chose to focus on what he did as Chancellor with the furlough scheme. He's obviously talking about his whole record in government, not just as Prime Minister. Do you think that will play well with voters?
I'm not sure that the voters are listening right now. This is the problem. What you've got is the strongest suit that the Labour Party's got is the fact that they've been in power, the Tories, for 14 years.
Yeah.
And far from doing the things that they are elected to do in terms of making Brexit work, in terms of reforming the public sector, which is the blob and is out of control and is basically running the country, on immigration and on so many things that Conservatives really feel quite strongly about, they've done nothing, if not actually done worse than expected. So I'm not sure if they're going to be interested in the fact that Rishi was a good chancellor, or that since he became Prime Minister, the economic promises that he made early on have been borne out. I think they're more interested in the fact that, as you were saying earlier, that huge numbers of people have been pouring into this country, both legally and illegally, when we have no room for them, no services, no public services, no jobs, not the sort of jobs at any rate that we want filled. So, I think this is the thing that will decide the outcome of this election, which I think will be a Labour victory.
Yeah. Do you think it will be a 20-point? I mean, there are 20 points ahead in the polls right now. Do you think those polls will narrow as people focus on not just what the Tory legacy, what their record in power, but also what Keir Starmer actually plans to do? Because the reality is, what he's offering is kind of just a different face on telly. They've got the same in trade, the same problems internationally, same economy. They've got the same departmental spending commitments. I'm not quite sure what, other than, I don't know, trans rights, Labour are going to be able to do any differently.
Well, I think it's worse than that, Julia. I think that they're going to be able to do things worse even than the Tories have.
Hey, wait, let's have a moment. Imagine that concept. Imagine doing it worse than the current lot. Wow.
Well, on every single issue that we've talked about where the Tories have failed over 14 years, the Labour Party, where it has any policies at all, appear to be heading in even further down the road of further immigration, more spending, more borrowing, or more taxes, whichever. And I think their handling of the economy is automatically doomed by the few promises they've made on what they're going to spend the money on.
Yeah.
They're not going to reform the National Health Service. They're not going to cut immigration. They're not going to give police powers to arrest demonstrators. I think they're going to be in terror of the Muslim vote over Gaza. I think it's going to be a catastrophic period under Labour, and that's the only hope that the Tories have got, that people might start thinking about that,
Yeah.
and where they're going to put their cross on the ballot paper.
Or is there an element with this where, again, look, things aren't going to get any better. They're not going to get any Rwanda flights. Rishi Sunak says that there isn't going to be a flight to Rwanda before the general election. Even if there were, it wouldn't make a big difference. You know that, I know that. That actually the economic news is coming is not going to be good enough to really make people feel very differently. So cut your losses, take the losses right now, with the hope that the Tories can come back after 4 or 5 catastrophic years, as you say, under Labour. Because it may well be, a lot of people say, well, things will be better. And then they go, oh, or maybe they aren't. And although we can see massive losses for the Tories under the current polling, we saw that in 2019 for Labour under Jeremy Corbyn. Nobody was saying that Keir Starmer could be in a position to win the general election this time round, let alone with the 20-point lead. British politics ain't what it used to be. It's not as predictable. Things can change overnight. Things can change on a sixpence. Do you think that they're just holding out that it won't be a complete trouncing and that Tories will be back in office in 5 years' time?
Well, I hope so, because I don't think that, in fact, Keir Starmer or the Labour Party are actually going to win this election. It is the Tories who are going to lose it. And I think people will rapidly discover this once the Labour is in office, with whatever majority it's got. I think it will probably end up with a clear majority. I think that the events over the last 24 hours may well have stopped the Tories closing that gap sufficiently to achieve the hung parliament that some people have predicted. I think that, in fact, it will be a clear majority. And then we will see how much Britain changes in the 5 years of a Labour government, and what happens to the Tory party, and where will Nigel Farage end up in that scenario.
Absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Trevor Kavanagh, I know you're going to be keeping a close watch, and we'd love to talk to you more about this throughout the election campaign. Political economist at The Sun, Trevor Kavanagh, thank you.